Hi, I'm Carla Lauder with Spar3D.com, and today we are joined with Dustin Parkman, who's the VP of Project Delivery at Bentley Systems, and we're going to talk to him a little bit today about what's going on with ProjectWise 365 and also Bentley's suite of civil engineering tools. So, Dustin, welcome and thank you for joining us today. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you do at Bentley?
Yeah, sure, Carla. So I am the general manager or business unit executive for Bentley's project delivery business unit. So that basically embodies all of the collaboration and work in progress cloud services that we have for engineering, for construction, and for capital and program management from an owner's perspective. So you could think of it as common data environments for all those three different groups, allowing them to deliver projects more effectively.
Fantastic. So, jumping right into it, what are some of the major challenges that people who are working on the types of projects that you work with, these infrastructure projects during COVID-19, how are they handling working from home? What kind of challenges have you heard that they're facing?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different challenges that people have been facing around the globe. Everything from corporate or government level policy for working from home. In some cases, like geographically, there's been areas where they just they didn't really have good work from home practices, even from a labor law perspective. Areas, particularly like India and China and parts of Southeast Asia, for example, were really kind of caught flat-footed initially. But the good news is that because of everyone rallying really quickly, they were able to get policy created in a matter of weeks, which would have probably taken years to accomplish otherwise. So that's kind of the happy ending of that story. Is a lot of things, a lot of corporate culture and a lot of government culture has really changed their mind with regards to having a good mobility and work from home strategy. Everything from having the IT infrastructure in place, having making sure colleagues have that kind of backpack mentality of, hey, I can put everything in my backpack, and no matter where I go, I can actually do my work very effectively. Bentley, as a technology company, we were very well suited for this. We really didn't skip a beat, so to speak. We were already kind of working in this type of paradigm already. Most of us, we travel a lot. We go to projects all around the world, and so it really didn't affect us that much. And in fact, many of our users had the same type of effect, particularly some of the ones that already had good cloud strategy.
Mm-hmm.
They already had good collaboration tools, everything from the generic collaboration tools like Zoom and Microsoft Teams and those types of products, to very specific tools for doing engineering work in progress, doing managing projects and handover data, doing construction correspondence and things like that. And ProjectWise obviously sits into those categories. So yeah, we were actually able to see some of the trends. It was kind of interesting to see, some organizations really just didn't skip a beat. But in the industry, we've seen different changes. Like I mentioned, some of the geographical differences that trends that we've seen. But you've also seen some interesting trends at the government levels of how they're actually doing projects. So most governments are at least hoping, if not planning, for some level of stimulus funding to come in. So what you've seen is they've really kind of taken their project portfolio, so to speak, of things that they were trying to do, and they've shifted how they're actually executing them. For one, particularly urban area construction, you're seeing a lot of that get expedited because
Mm-hmm.
of all the challenges you would normally have doing construction in very dense urban areas. You've got some freedoms that you wouldn't otherwise have. There's no traffic.
Right.
There's not a lot of people on the street. So doing, particularly things where you're having to do underground utilities and drainage networks that are very disruptive usually to traffic and mobility. Those projects have a luxury to actually do that now without all of that disruption. So you're seeing that. You're also seeing trends like where rather than doing the actual project execution, they're using their existing capital budgets to actually get a lot of the design work done ahead of time in preparation for a stimulus funding that might have some constraints on time to deliver. So that way they're well prepared to actually move from, right into construction, from design to construction. So they're shifting that work upstream in preparation for that. So that's been interesting as well. I think at the government level, a lot of governments were kind of caught flat-footed as well. We saw this kind of this dark period for a few weeks because
yeah.
a lot of times they didn't have a good work from home policy. Maybe they didn't have the right computing hardware to take home, laptops that had the capacity to do some of the more complex graphical type of design work or virtual construction work. So yeah, it's been very interesting. It's been very agile time. We're learning a lot each week based on behaviors and trends, and so it's been, despite the tragedy of all of it, it has actually been there's been some exciting things that have happened as well. And I think what is the saying? Catastrophe is the mother of innovation,
Right.
or necessity is the mother of innovation. So I think you're seeing a lot of that happen, and there's some new norms that are actually, I think, that will stick around. So I think a lot of the things that you're seeing, particularly in the professional work, professionalism and workforce areas, I think a lot of these trends will stick. I think a lot of them will stay. I think on the social aspect of our lives, I don't think the Zoom happy hours are gonna have the same.
Getting a little Zoom fatigue, yeah.
I think everybody will have a little Zoom fatigue. I think those people would be glad to get back to their normal social lives.
Yeah, and kind of on that point that you were just making there, for SPAR 3D and AEC Next, the two publications that we manage here, we talk a lot about kind of what's driving people towards digitization. What's going to help them go digital, and sometimes it's an unusual circumstance. But I want to talk a little bit with you about how kind of that common data environment, things like ProjectWise 365, can kind of help people like make that transition to kind of digitizing and even if they're not prepared now, maybe they could be more prepared for a future situation, or just in general doing more efficient workflows. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So ProjectWise 365 is our new product offering underneath the ProjectWise umbrella. It's really meant to give people the same type of capabilities and benefits that traditional ProjectWise has had, but traditional ProjectWise has really historically been kind of an enterprise level system, right? So it typically, companies are making a larger decision on their technology stack, whereas ProjectWise 365 is meant to be, it can be used at an enterprise level, but it can also be used at a small work group level. And because it's SaaS and instant on, work groups of essentially any size can get benefits. On the very low end, it can just be document management, file sharing, doing collaborative design reviews, whether that be in 2D or 3D, just to allow teams to be mobile but yet connected, to integrate. You can integrate those types of design reviews, sessions, and systems and issue tracking into some of the general collaboration platforms like Microsoft Office 365. So you can embed this inside your team's environment. So you can already leverage the collaboration platform you have, but provide engineering and construction tooling that is relevant for what our professionals and practitioners really need to do their job. So ProjectWise 365, really kind of goes down the pyramid of complexity of projects, allowing people to to kind of use this even on the smallest of projects. So small work groups, small organizations, small firms, very cost effective model as well, allowing anybody to get the benefits of engineering work in progress collaboration. They can also use the environment to do all of their correspondence with clients, as well as the the supply chain of subcontractors, whether that be on the engineering side or on the construction side. It provides this platform of capturing feedback, capturing issues, allowing you to do transmittals and RFI responses, traditional construction correspondence, and capturing that that communication over the life of your project. So it's really, it's our first foray at it, and there's already a tremendous amount of uptake we've seen globally, and so we're really excited about it, and there's a lot of great things to come as well on that platform.
Absolutely. And I, I hear your point about kind of the medium to small, kind of firms being able to get on board with this, because I know that you guys work with a lot of some of the largest firms out there, in the ENR top 100, but, you spoke a little bit to how that, those mediums or small firms might be able to benefit, but what would you also say to those who are saying, oh, well, I have a file sharing thing, and yeah, I have one collaborative tool, and I have, they have these kind of piecemeal
Sure.
solutions, is there kind of one major benefit to kind of having that sole source for them?
Yeah. I think the difference between what ProjectWise 365 is and some more generic collaboration platforms, Dropbox, OneDrive, and the likes, is the tooling that we have on top of all of that is really kind of what the typical day in life would be for an engineer, for a designer, for a construction project manager. It's really providing those practitioner specific tools for analyzing deliverables, analyzing models, doing spatial based review and commenting, tracking, making sure that the data is available on any device, whether you're in the office, whether you're in the field, and really providing that kind of neural network of communication and execution for what a infrastructure project is actually about. So it's above and beyond just vanilla collaboration. It's very catered and to engineering and construction professionals.
And for those professionals, how much kind of training or onboarding is needed to kind of get someone up and going with this? What's that learning curve like for new users, and what other, kind of resources and support are there for when they decide to try it out?
Yeah, so right now, we're offering the ProjectWise 365 at, we're basically waiving subscription fees until September 30th of this year in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And so as a result of that, we basically built an onboarding program. So anybody who signs up for that offer, we have our user success specialists actually walking people through how to use all the different tools. To answer your first question, these tools are very approachable. They're really meant to be kind of self-discoverable, not requiring a lot of training or typical over-the-shoulder type of stuff. They're really meant to be instant on. But with that said, we do have 4 sessions that we put people through that when they sign up, to allow them to get the most value out of the product, really kind of do some deep learning on a couple of the different areas. So that's what we're offering to the industry right now.
And so, just kind of looking forward, beyond, the COVID-19 pandemic, are you seeing any trends in the way that maybe infrastructure design and engineering is going to change in the future in terms of just how it's going to be done generally? Like, what kind of things are we doing now that might stick or that we still need to adopt in the industry?
I think there are a lot of trends that are going to stick. I mean, the obvious one is mobility. Everyone will have a good mobility strategy going forward. I think most people will be preparing for not if, but when the next pandemic or natural disaster actually takes place, so that their business isn't disruptive or disrupted. But there's also a lot of trends that we're seeing, like for example, a lot of the site surveying type of work is actually being done instead of sending out all the disciplines to the site to do the review. We're seeing people only sending one person on site, and they're actually using a drone, and everyone else is on a Zoom meeting or a Teams meeting, and they're actually using just the pilot on site to basically go and analyze the different areas, but everyone's actually doing the review from their homes, which is kind of interesting. Obviously, we've seen construction change up a little bit as well, as far as how to kind of stay true to the social distancing, and how do you break up disciplines, how do you do work a bit differently. And so there's some changes there, I think, that might stick around. Obviously, the use of any type of mobility or virtualization to get your work done, I think that's here to stay. I think most people are realizing, hey, we've been traveling all over the place all the time. We probably don't need to do that as much. I know from our own personal perspective, as someone who's spent the last 15 years on an airplane traveling all around the world to different projects and meeting with different users, it's kind of been, we've been able to do what we would have done before without having to do that. So I think, I don't think that I think travel will definitely be changed quite a bit. And I think people are going to figure out how to do things virtually that they probably wouldn't have otherwise.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And, we appreciate everything that you guys are doing, and good luck in the future. And I hope that we get back to work, whether it's the new work or the same work as we were before. So Thank you very much.